They're the faceless figures in Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking ring. Women and girls whose stories fill the Department of Justice files. Some explaining they were raped, others lent out to Epstein's friends, and another given sexual instructions for other men and trafficked. Epstein went to jail for sex trafficking. So did accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell. But the Trump administration says evidence doesn't show other men participated in the abuse. From the FBI.
There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals.
To the DOJ.
Anybody with evidence, come to the FBI and tell us.
Victims did tell the FBI, but the files show little sign of any follow-up by investigators. A CNN review of the DOJ's own publicly released Epstein files finds more than a dozen times where victims told the FBI that Epstein facilitated sexual encounters with his rich and powerful network. In the pages of redacted reports, there's Wall Street executives, a wealthy psychiatrist, a now jailed film producer, a former prince. But here's what we can't find in the public files. Much evidence of further investigation after those women spoke to the FBI.
What does justice at the end of the day look like for you?
Before we can even get to prosecution, we need investigation, right? And so, unfortunately, what we're seeing right now is that there's been so little investigation.
Annie Farmer is an Epstein survivor. She says she was sexually abused by Epstein and his partner Ghislaine Maxwell when she was just 16. She's joined House Oversight Committee ranking member Robert Garcia in a public push for more accountability.
This is about some of the most powerful, wealthiest people believing that they can just get away with anything. And they empowered Jeffrey Epstein to be that person.
The files reveal how Epstein built a trafficking ring. The victims were teenagers or young women who needed money and influence to start their lives. Epstein paid for gifts and exotic trips to his Caribbean island for parties. Victims told the FBI at first he seemed harmless. One victim told the Palm Beach Police Department 2 decades ago how Epstein would groom his victims.
The girl that meets Jeffrey starts off with giving him a massage. The more you do with him, the more you make.
In this 2021 report, a victim told the FBI she believed they trafficked me. She says Epstein sent her to Dr. Henry Jarecki, a renowned psychiatrist who could help her with college. This is Jarecki, pictured here with Epstein in the files. Because she really wanted to attend college, she says she gave Jarecki oral sex. There's no sign of an FBI investigation with Jarecki. He says he's never abused anyone. A wealthy banker named in an FBI report is Jess Staley.
I have had a long-standing professional relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
A woman told the FBI that she met Staley at Epstein's New York mansion. The woman says Epstein was paying for her to attend massage school and told her to give Staley a massage. Photos show Epstein owned an elaborate massage room. The massage ended in rough sex. She told Staley she did not want this. Federal investigators spoke to local cops about accusations against Staley, but the files don't show much follow-up. Staley said in court he did have sex with one of Epstein's assistants, but it was consensual.
I love doing business. My whole life I've enjoyed doing business.
Leon Black is a Wall Street titan. A woman said Epstein told her to massage Black, who started becoming sexual. She then ran out of the room. Another woman said Black raped her. Files show the DOJ spoke about Black with the Manhattan DA's office, which began looking into him, but he has not been charged for anything. An attorney for Black said he has never abused, assaulted, or raped any girl or woman, and the idea of doing so is repulsive and reprehensible to him.
It's just an absolute travesty, the way that the entire thing is played out.
Attorney Spencer Kuvin has represented multiple Epstein victims. One of his clients says Epstein and Maxwell loaned her to a corporate executive in Palm Beach, Florida.
Ghislaine approached her one day and said to her, "Look, I need you to go give somebody a massage." And she asked who, and they told her where she needed to go, and it was a home on the island. And she was essentially told, go give this particular man a massage the way that you give Jeffrey a massage. Girls were not people to him. They were objects to be traded. So he would utilize both underage victims, but he would also utilize other women who were over the age of 18 to satisfy men that he wanted to curry favor with.
You're almost talking about an economic ecosystem based on the abuse of women.
It was.
Victims say Epstein's favors involve famous people like film producer Harvey Weinstein. One victim says when she was 15, Epstein told her, "I have a friend staying over." She says the man abused her. An attorney showed her a photo of Weinstein and the woman identified him. Weinstein is in prison, but not for any Epstein-related crime. Through a spokesperson, Weinstein unequivocally denies the allegation and has no recollection of any such interaction. The files also name Prince Andrew in allegations from Virginia Giuffre. She told the FBI the then prince had sex with her when she was 17 years old.
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady. None whatsoever.
It's in the UK, not the US, where authorities moved, arresting Andrew on allegations he shared sensitive information with Epstein. Andrew denies all allegations against him.
When I started to read some of these files, I was, even for a seasoned investigator, I had to pause.
Moses Castillo is a former LAPD sex crimes detective. He says he'd expect to see more basic investigation and follow-up in the files.
It's actually policing 101, police investigations 101, a sex crime detective 101. You would do all those things. You develop a game plan, a strategy in how you're going to investigate this. You check the flight. You check all the hotels. You check this victim said this and that. Can you go out there and corroborate that? So it's time consuming, but it's not impossible.
Castillo says one possible hurdle is victim cooperation. In the files, a woman accused President Trump of sexual assault. The FBI spoke with her 4 times, but says she ultimately refused to cooperate. The White House calls that allegation against Trump baseless. In an unusual turn in the Epstein saga, the First Lady, responding to what she calls lies about herself, is calling for Epstein's victims to have their voices heard in a public hearing.
Now is the time for Congress to act. Epstein was not alone.
A renewed investigation is exactly what survivors like Annie Farmer have long wanted.
We have people that are able to make these statements about, oh, there's nothing more to see here, and we don't even know that that's true. We believe it's not true, but until they can show evidence of investigation, I think it would be very difficult to move on.
When you hear people say that Epstein's dead, Maxwell's in prison, it's over, what do you say to that?
It's not over. It's not over till the survivors feel that they have justice. There are those that enabled the abuse, that worked for Epstein. There were other powerful men that are walking around in corporate boardrooms and in government that need accountability.